Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today we are talking about the Dallas Cowboys and their offseason plan I've laid out for them to get back to playoff and maybe even Super Bowl contention. So make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it. Dallas Cowboys offseason plan, no head coaching changes. Coordinators, yes, but no big time ones I want to talk about. They also hired Christian Parker, the secondaries coach from the Eagles, as a defensive coordinator. So big move there, but the cuts and/or trades, they are currently sitting at negative $39 million in the cap space. In 2027, they're at positive $4 million. In 2028, they're at positive 123. So honestly, this sucks. If we're being 100% honest, this is a very sucky cap space to be walking into as someone who really wants to try and win them a Super Bowl and wants to build this roster to try and compete for a Super Bowl. Negative 39 million with a lot of money tied up in guys that you can't really move off of, and a team that went all in at the trade deadline and it didn't really work. It's a tough number to look at, but we are going to do our best to make sure we can turn this around. So first off, I want to cut Malik Hooker, starting safety for them. This last year, he had 37 tackles, 0 interceptions, 7 run stops, 1 pass breakup. He has become a very good safety. I'm not gonna say he's like a Pro Bowler, but a very good starting free safety later in his career. Injuries nearly ended his career in the first 4 years. If you guys remember, he was with the Indianapolis Colts from, I believe, 2017 to 2021. Maybe even 2020. They might have come a year early. But I was a very big fan of Malik Hooker. He was one of those guys, like, if he was healthy, I'd root for him. But he just was never really healthy. He's an excellent run defender. Plays the run very well for his safety. He was in and out of the lineup this year. So yet again, injuries are starting to plague him again. You can save $7 million moving on from him right now. That's something that I'm willing to do. Now, if you don't want to move on from him quite yet because you don't have a replacement, I understand. But I'm worrying about the long-term financial situation of this team. And we got to try to get underneath that cap number right now before the league year ends. So, we're going to cut Malik Hooker. Some restructures we're going to do as well. We're going to restructure Dak Prescott, starting quarterback. We're going to open up $31 million in cap space, lowering his cap hit from $70 million to $43 million. That's a great restructure. Again, he's your franchise quarterback. We are going to make sure he's on this team for the long term. We are fine pushing that number down the line. Same with CeeDee Lamb. He's one of the best wide receivers in football. We're going to restructure him down from $27 million in cap, $37 million in a cap hit to 18.7, saving $19 million in cap space. Then Osa Odighizuwa, who they just signed last year, lowering his cap hit from $20 million all the way down to $8 million, saving $12 million against the cap. So we just opened up $62 million in cap space, and I feel like that's a good number to work off of because this team isn't too far off from contention. I think a lot of it is just their defense has to get better, and you don't need a lot of pieces to make this defense better. You already have a really good defensive line. Obviously, you lost Micah Parsons, so that's going to be a little bit sucky. But this team is not that far off from contention. People can say what they want, but I do think the Cowboys are one good offseason away from getting over the hump. So $62 million plus that 7 from Malik Hooker is $69 million. We are now at positive $30 million in cap space. Yes, next year we'll be at negative 11, but guess what? You can just kind of keep restructuring contracts every single year. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep restructuring contracts. And here we are at the re-signings and extensions. So this is what I want to talk about George Pickens. There is no financial way of making George Pickens work. Everyone needs to get that under their skull. There is no financial way that we can make this work while trying to make this team better. Excuse me. This was the issue that they had with Micah Parsons, is that putting $30 to $40 million into one player at this current moment with how this roster is constructed is impossible. Dak makes too much money. CD makes too much money. Deron Bland now makes too much money. The Kenny Clark and Osa Odighizuwa make too much money. There's not much we can do. So I am going to let George Pickens walk, and we will begin a compensatory pick from him because he'll sign with another team in the offseason. He'll probably make from between $25 and $35 million in cap. For another team. You'll then get a 3rd or 4th round compensatory pick in 2027. I would rather have that compensatory pick than George Pickens because I cannot afford George Pickens for the long term of this roster construction. So I'm going to move on from George Pickens, and instead of re-signing George Pickens, I'm going to re-sign Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams last year had an amazing revitalization year in Dallas. He had 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4.8 yards per carry, and 137 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. Again, he revitalized his career post-Denver. This was a dude that when he was in Denver his rookie season, everyone was really high on him. Tears an ACL, never really bounces back in Denver, comes to Dallas, and gets a second chance in the NFL. He was top 10 in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. He was a true bell cow for his running back, his run game last year. He's someone that I truly can believe for the next 2 or 3 years can anchor this run game for the Dallas Cowboys. I still want to draft a young guy to take more load off of him. Maybe not in 2026, but in 2027 or 2028, I want to draft like a second or third round running back to pair behind Javonte Williams. But right now, I'm comfortable with him being the full-time starter with with Jaden Blue behind him. So I'm gonna give him a 3-year, $18 million deal, $11.5 million guaranteed at 64%. So again, that cap number never goes over 8.5. It averages out to about $6 million a year. That's a good number for him. It's someone that, yes, has had injury histories, but also had a really good year this year. But I just don't see him getting a big-time deal in free agency. I think the best deal he's going to get is with the Dallas Cowboys, with the team he just had success with. I think they're going to be the best deal for him. And again, he stays in a situation where he knows he can be successful behind a really good offensive line with a good quarterback, good wide receivers. So the pressure will not be on him. All he has to do is churn out 5 yards of carry. And I'm really a big fan of Javonte Williams. I'm happy he was able to get healthy and show that he's still a viable member of an NFL roster. Next is going to be Quinnen Williams. So we're going to be extending Quinnen Williams because obviously you trade for him midseason. He already has a deal he's on right now, but it's not really not much guaranteed money left. And I just don't see him going into next season with the guaranteed money deal he currently has. So Quinnen Williams this year at D tackle had 39 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 35 run stops, which was 8th among D tackles, and 51 pressures, which was 7th among D tackles. I think a full offseason with a better defensive coordinator is going to make Quinnen Williams play even better for Dallas. Because while he was good post-trade, he definitely was not Quinnen Williams in New York. Another draft and free agency will bolster the defense overall as well. So Quinnen Williams will have better running mates next to him and behind him. He's still a great run stopper. I think the trade was a really good trade for the Dallas Cowboys to invest in 2026. Next to Osa Digizua, when they're both healthy, I think could potentially create the best defensive tackle duo in the league. We'll have to see. Again, they're both on long-term deals now, so you know for a fact that you're going to have your D tackles for the next 2 or 3 years with this prime of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb in this offensive line. This is the window. So I think extending Quinnen Williams, getting that money, and getting him extended to a long-term, it has to be the number one priority on guys who are currently on roster. Cowboys have not won a game wow, why can I not speak right now? The Cowboys have not won a single game having scored less than 20 points since 2018. I think they need to make sure that Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark they trade for as well, and this defense can step up to the plate. And so when the offense has a bad game, they have a chance to win. Because the fact that since 2018, that is now 7 seasons, the Cowboys have not won a game when their offense has scored under 20, shows the incompetence and the bad play of this defense overall from game to game. So Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, really good veteran D tackles, I think can elevate that room. Obviously, you trade for Logan Wilson midway through the season. You're getting oh my God, Overshown. I can't remember his first name. You're getting a linebacker back from injury. You moved on from Trayvon Diggs because he was a liability for you. So corner has to be a priority for you as well. But I think that the new hire, the defensive coordinator, is very important for them. I do expect this team to play better on defense. And all they need is just a competent defense for this really good offense. And I truly believe this team can be in contention. So with his deal, currently, his cap number for 2026 is at $21.75 million, with next year being $25.5 million with no guaranteed money. So what I'm going to do instead is renegotiate a 4-year deal. So he will lower his cap number in 2026 from 21.75 all the way down to $10 million. So we're going to save ourselves $11 million in cap space this year. Next year, lower it as well, $4 million. We're pushing that can down the lane. So we're going to sign to a new 4-year, $20 million cap hit. A 4-year, $81 million deal, $44 million guaranteed at 54% guaranteed. So it's still a pay raise, right? He gets more guaranteed money, going from $5 million in guaranteed all the way to $44 million in guarantees. That's a good number for him. And for the Cowboys, it's still, I'm not going to say it's a team-friendly deal because you're going to be paying a 33, 34-year-old D tackle $26 million. But in the next year or two, when you're trying to compete with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, this offense, getting Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark extended for the next 2 or 3 years has to be a priority. Those are the guys that you got back with all the trades you did this year. Those are the priority guys you need to keep. So this is going to be an investment for the future and kind of recommitting to Quinnen Williams saying, hey, we could have gotten you for only $5 million guaranteed. If you were really bad, we could have cut you. But we're going to extend this deal, make sure you're here for the long term, and you get all that guaranteed money. So that's what we're going to be doing. So entering free agency, you're now at positive $39 million because you were originally at positive 30. You signed Javonte Williams back, but with that restructure, of Quinnen Williams. You saved an additional $11 million. So you actually gained $9 million in cap space by re-signing two guys who are pivotal to success this season. So the very first signing I'm going to be doing is Malcolm Koonce. Malcolm Koonce this last year had 15 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 18 run stops, and 35 pressures. We need to bolster the edge position. Obviously, you had guys like Sam Williams and Donovan Ezeraku who played well, but I want to bolster this edge room. Just add another guy in there that has been successful in the NFL. We'll definitely draft high at edge still. Malcolm Koonce and Donovan Ezeraku are not good enough to me to not draft like a Cassius Howell, a David Walker if one of them slip. I would still be drafting one of those guys high. He give me a boost to edge run defense as well. He's a very good run defender, allows more defensive formations as well. Malcolm Koonce has actually played D tackle at certain times in his career, so it kind of opens up versatility if you want to move Quinnen Williams outside of the D tackle position, move Malcolm Koonce in, and you'd feel very comfortable with that. I'm going to give him a 1-year, $5.5 million deal to get him in Dallas. Next is going to be a very interesting sign. I think could be a really good or really bad sign for them. I'm going to sign Joey Bosa to play edge. Joey Bosa in Buffalo this year had 22 tackles, 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 23 run stops, 47 pressures, and 2 batted passes. He had a great bounce back season in Buffalo. Definitely not the Joey Bosa of 2018, 2019, but still a very, very high-end player for you. He gets a starting spot for a playoff push team. This is someone that is trying to win a Super Bowl. He can come to Dallas, be the starter on an edge room that has a very good offense, and the defense just needs to play better. He can elevate that edge room immediately. Will be a great veteran in the room, and he gets another long-term deal because he's shown growth in every aspect, even at 30 years old. Improved in the run, improved in pass rush, 5 forced fumbles, is constantly trying to attack the ball. So I think Joey Bosa is absolutely worth a deal. So I'm going to give him on a 3-year deal. Like I said, the next 2 or 3 years is the window for the Dallas Cowboys with this current iteration of the roster to try and win a Super Bowl. Because right now, parity is king. We've had back-to-back Super Bowl winners that, with offensive lines and great defenses, have won the Super Bowl. So I think Joey Bosa can come to a team, help elevate his defensive line room and his defense overall. So I'm going to give him a 3-year, $30 million deal, $16.5 million guaranteed at 55%. I think the fact that he's over the age of 30, just had, while it's a good season, only 5 sacks. That's what a lot of these front office care about. But he has the experience in the start of games that I think this Dallas Cowboys team desperately needs to help develop this team and get this defense on the right track. So I'm going to get him on a good deal. And again, he gets a starting job on a playoff push team that wants to win a Super Bowl. Makes a lot of sense for both parties. I just don't think there's going to be those Super Bowl playoff push teams. They're going to want Joey Bosa for that much money because he's just a liability with the injuries, the inconsistent play. While he had a great year in Buffalo, if he signs to your team, is he going to go back to Chargers Buffalo the last 3 years, or are you going to get the 1-year sensation in Buffalo? That's the question. So next we'll be signing is Julian Blackmon. I want to take a chance on Julian Blackmon. This last year had 4 tackles and 3 run stops. He was great in Indianapolis. I still don't know why he went up until August, September to sign with a team. He really struggled to join a team this last offseason. He had to wait till Tyrann Mathieu right before the start of the season retired. That's when he got signed. I'm really confused why. I still don't know why. I was reading a lot of articles about it. No one had a real good reason why. I think he can step in and start for you day one at free safety. He was very good in Indianapolis. This is someone that played the pass really well, was able to stop the run. I'm a big fan of Julian Blackmon. He can come in, compete for a starting job, or even start day one. I hope he can return to being that great run defender he once was. Because in Indianapolis, I think this dude is going to be making like $10 to $12 million a year. And then enters free agency and doesn't touch the field until like week 3 because of how late he started with the training camp. So I'm going to give him a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. To try to get that Malik Hooker. You know, a couple of years ago when they signed Malik Hooker, that was the type of deal from Indianapolis where it's like, hey, this guy's good when he's healthy, but you know, you're going to take that chance on if he's healthy or not. They got him for a 1-year deal. It was really good. They extended him. I think it's going to be the exact same thing with Julian Blackmon. Is take advantage of a very young, good run defender that for some reason is slipping through the cracks of the NFL. You can get him on your roster. If he balls out for you, awesome. You extend him for a long time. If he's not good, it's a 1-year deal on a guy that you once believed was really good. That's not awful. So that's the last one I wanted to really talk about in depth. The next other signs I'm going to be doing, though, it's going to be a long defensive line because that's why I think you need to dominate, right? You need to dominate the defensive line, then you need to draft in the secondary. That's my goal. So other signs would be Calais Campbell. He just had a really great season with Arizona, still showing that He can be that linchpin piece on the defensive line that can get to the quarterback, stop the run. Even at age 39, he was showing that. So I think 100% he will be playing at age 40. And where else should he go but Jerry World? I think that's one of the only spots he hasn't been at that I'm shocked he hasn't been at. So I think the Dallas Cowboys get Calais Campbell to be that D tackle, DN kind of hybrid guy and be a very, very good veteran for this team, because I think there's going to be a lot of new guys coming into this defense that I think are going to need a Calais Campbell type of guy. Then I'm assigned Draymond Jones, again, another veteran edge rusher, can play that D tackle DN role. That's why I really want to get the most investment, because you had DeMarvion Overshown, Logan Wilson, other linebackers in the last year that you drafted as well. Linebackers interesting. So I'm going to add someone in the draft, but when it comes to free agency, I just want to attack the defensive line, get as much depth and high-end role players as I can, so that's what we can dominate, is in the trenches. So that's all the signs I want to talk about. We're going to be entering the draft at positive $22 million in cap space this year. Next year, we're at negative 24. That's fine. We'll restructure some people. Then in 2028, you're at positive 60. So this is the window. 26, 27, and 28 is the window. That's when you have Dak, CD, Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, all the free agents I signed, the draft guys. This is the window of everything you need to do in the next 2 or 3 years. This is the time to win a Super Bowl, so we're going all in. And by saying when I go all in, we're going all in. At number 12, we're going to grab Denzel Boston. Now, this is very early for Denzel. I like him more in that 18 to 24 range than I like him in that 8 to 12 range. But when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, I do think you need to get a wide receiver pairing next to CeeDee Lamb. Get him something you can really believe in to be that number 2 for him. While you're going to lose George Pickens, I just want to give him that big time deal. That's the biggest thing, is I want to get someone that in 4 years, when CeeDee Lamb is 31, 32 years old and is on that next contract, Denzel Boston can get his contract in 4 years. But this is someone for the next 4 years, could be a wide receiver 2, big body, 6'4", 230. This is the dude. Great route runner, great deep threat. I think this is exactly what this offense needs, is another dude who can command a role. And while George Pickens did that this year, I just don't want to commit that $30 million a year to him to be a wide receiver 2. So Denzel Boston, my wide receiver 2 at number 12. Then at number 20, with my second first-round pick, I'm going to grab C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia. This is one of the better stand-up linebackers. He can also blitz the edge if you need him to as well. But I am not drafting him to replace Micah Parsons. I am drafting him to be my Mike linebacker for the future. This is the dude that I want to have a green dot on next season. Now, whether it's 2026, 2027, we can argue about that. But this is the dude that I want Logan Wilson to say, hey, take C.J. Allen under your wing and teach him how to be a Mike linebacker in the NFL. Help him learn what to do, how to be a professional. That's your rookie. That's your rookie. And that's what I'm telling Logan Wilson. Because C.J. Allen will be the high-end role player. Could start day one, but I think it's better in that role player, that linebacker 3 or 4 spot, and you're investing for the future. So you have someone that if you need to play him, you feel comfortable, but you don't need to play him because the position already has guys that you trust. Then at 112, I'm going to grab Michael Taffe from Texas. This is a safety last year that I thought he would come out, and I had him as a 3rd or 4th round pick. I had a bit of a slow season. I'm going to keep him that late day 2, early day 4 slot. Can play the pass really well, can run defend really well, can blitz when needed, has played strong safety and free safety. So again, with Malik Hooker being cut, and you sign Julian Blackmon, Michael Taffe with Israel Mukuamu and Julian Blackmon, those 3 guys are going to fight it out for the starting free safety and strong safety position. I can't remember the other strong safety. I'm blanking on his name. There is a strong safety on this roster who is I did not cut because I want to keep one of the safeties. I'm blanking on his name, but you already have a strong safety there. So all 3 guys will be fighting for free safety, and if they want to try and compete for strong safety, they can. But Michael Taffe, again, is more of a shot in the dark for the future of a guy that has a high-end role player. Then at 150, I'm going to take a shot again at Tacario Davis. You guys seen him in multiple of my offseason plan videos. Tacario Davis, nickel corner. I think he can immediately start for you day one. Move Deron Bland out to a boundary corner. Even though, yes, he had more success when he was a nickel corner, you're paying him a lot of money. I think you got to move him out the boundary. Tacario Davis could play a boundary corner if you wanted him to, but I believe he's only 5'10", 195. So it's a little bit smaller of an outside corner, but if he can compete there, he can compete there. Corner is one of those positions where, hey, man, it might be the hump that breaks the camel's back is your corner position, because defensive line is very deep and good, linebacker is very deep and good, safety is very deep and good. Corner might be the position where you're like, man, we need to go sign someone in free agency last minute to try and, maybe like a Chidobe Awuzie, a veteran who just knows what he's doing. But Carey Davis, I'm going to take in the 5th round at 150. Then in the 5th as well, I'm going to grab Caleb Douglas, another big body wide receiver from Texas Tech. Great deep threat, very tall, long arms, really high catch radius. This is another jump ball guy for Dak Prescott, because you have Ryan Flournoy to be your slot guy. You have CeeDee Lamb, then you have Denzel Boston, now you have Caleb Douglas, and you have, I believe it's Tristan Jackson is your wide receiver 5. Then you obviously have Kevontae Turpin. So you have now 6 guys that some are speed, some are possession, some are the big body, some are the, just different molds of wide receiver. I think Caleb Douglas can play his role as a 5th round pick very well. Then at 215, I'll grab Kalen Black to be your hard-nosed runner behind Javonte Williams. Again, Javonte, more that elusive pass catcher, can break you with his speed. Kalen Black can get you those 2 or 3 yards if you need a first down on 4th down. That's what you hand the ball off to. Very low center of gravity, so he can just anchor his shoulder down and run over dudes. If you watch him in the playoff run, Kalen Black was dominant in the playoff run that he did to win a national championship. So if I can get him at 215, I feel very confident that he'd play a role very quickly for my offense. Then at 221, I'm going to grab Riley Nowakowski, same thing, tight end from Indiana. Really good run blocker. That's all I really needed. You already have one of the best tight ends in Jake Ferguson in the NFL as your starter. So Riley's going to come in. This will be a run blocking tight end. That's cool with me in the 7th round. Then Jalen Husky, another dude that's taking a shot in the dark at 225. He played strong safety. He also played nickel corner. So another guy you can just kind of throw at the corner position if it's not really working out. But it's 225, shot in the dark. Strong safety backup. At worst, he's a backup nickel. So that's my mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys. And with the depth chart, that's what we're looking at with the depth chart. So at quarterback, you have Dak Prescott, you have Joe Milton. I like it. We're keeping it there. Joe Milton can be a pretty good backup for Dak Prescott. They do a lot of things similarly, but Dak Prescott's a more refined version with a weaker arm somehow. Then at running back, you have Javonte Williams, Jadon Blue, Phil Maffa, and Kalen Black. I like that. I think Javonte Williams and Jadon Blue are very, very similar runners, with Kalen Black can anchor down that power back role. Tight end, Jake Ferguson, one of the best tight ends in football. Luke Schoonmaker, a really good backup tight end. Then Riley Nowakowski is that run blocker. At wide receiver, you have CeeDee Lamb, Ryan Flournoy, Denzel Boston. That's your starters, with Caleb Douglas, Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo, not Tristan Jackson, that's on the Vikings. Jonathan Mingo, who I think is actually more of a slot receiver, so I might switch him and Kevontae Turpin and let Jonathan be that slot dude. But that's your 6-man wide receiver group. I like it. You have size, you have speed, you have fluidity, you have good route running. I'm a big fan of that wide receiver room. Then for the offensive line, truly the strength of this team. Tyler Guyton at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard, Cooper Beebe at center, Tyler Booker at right guard, Terrence Steele at right tackle. That is an elite starting 5, man. I love the Dallas Cowboys. They always love drafting offensive linemen when it's unpopular. But I'm telling you, there's a reason. It's because offensive line is dominant in the NFL. Then backups, you have Nate Thomas, Johnny Cornelius at tackle, Trevor Keegan and Brock Hoffman in the interior. Then the defensive line, you got Osa Digizua, Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams. One of the best 3-man groups at D-tackle. Solon Thomas, Calais Campbell, Perrion Winfrey as your backups, with Malcolm Kuntz and Jay Toa as your backups as well. With Malcolm Kuntz being an edge rusher as well, I want to make sure it's in there. I just kind of put him there. It's like, okay, let's just fill out this depth chart a little bit. But Malcolm Kuntz would also be an edge rusher. Then at edge, yeah, Joey Bosa, Donovan Ezeraku as your starters, with Yetur Gross-Matos, James Houston, and Jermont Jones as your backups. Then at linebacker, DeMarvion Overshown, Logan Wilson are your starters, with Maurice Luafau, who you drafted recently, is very good as well. I actually like Maurice. I think he's underrated, with CJ Allen and Shamar James being your backups as well. Again, I think CJ Allen could compete for a starting job, but I'm more liking it more with Logan Wilson, take him under their wing, and teach him how to play football, basically. Then at corner, you got Deron Bland, Siobhan Revel, and Reddy Stewart. I love Siobhan Revel. I really hope this year he can kind of take that next step to be a great corner. With Terrio Davis, Corey Ballantyne, Kalen Carson, and Trickwez Bridges. I'm a big fan of Trickwez Bridges, if you guys don't know that. That was one of my guys in the draft I was a big fan of when he came out. So I'm really happy he's on the team that could actually get real opportunity to play maybe. But corners, a lot of question marks, honestly. Reddy Stewart, Corey Ballantyne, Trickwez Bridges, Kalen Carson. A lot of question marks, but I do believe that group, one of those guys can come out and be that starter for them. With that safety, you have Julian Blackman, Michael Taffe, Jalen Husky, and Juwan Thomas. That's an interesting safety room. Again, with safety, Of those 4 guys, I do think Julian Blackmon would win free safety because of his experience, and I would bet Michael Toffey would win strong safety because, again, he played at a premier school, played very well at a premier school. I do think his floor is higher than the other guys. But for this team, I think this would easily be a 9 or a 10 win team. It all depends on how well the cornerbacks develop, because offensively, they're good, right? Doesn't matter. Dak Prescott from the CeeDee Lamb with Javonte Williams in this offensive line is going to win 8 or 9 games. The question is, can the defense step up to dominate those 8 or 9 wins and squeeze 1 or 2 more out to get to 11 or 12 wins? That's the question. I do think its edge room is better than it was this last year. D-tackle is substantially better because everyone is now a year under the system, a year together. They know how each other play. Linebacker, I love the shot in the dark at CJ Allen to maybe be your Mike of the future. The question is the secondary. That was where I kind of took the less amount of money and least amount of draft picks because I want to get a wide receiver opposite of CeeDee Lamb. I want to get a linebacker for the future. And now corner and safety are going to be the biggest question marks. Can those guys hold up and kind of keep together and win their matchups? And that's going to be the biggest question mark of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of my offseason plan. I think it's pretty good. I probably rate like a B plus because I do wish I could have gotten a more solidified veteran for the secondary and then maybe take one less defensive lineman. But I think dominating at the defensive line is so important in today's NFL. I want to invest a lot of money in draft capital into getting this defensive line clicking. So if you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what you would think of my offseason plan, and I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.